Okay, you guys saw something in one of these chapters, the Dueling Club chapter, that I want you to describe because I want to talk about that for a second.
So what stuck out to me was the almost the last sentence of the end of the chapter. And it says, Harry saw a gleaming oak door ahead with a brass knocker in the shape of a griffin. So to me, that stuck out. I don't know why. It was a very visual thing. And I was like, oh, maybe that means something. Like, why would she write it out as a description, the shape of a griffin? And then I was like, what is a griffin? So then we did a deep dive. I was like Googling what a griffin is. And it was half eagle. I forget.
Half eagle, half lion.
Half lion, but I forget what part was what.
Wasn't it the eagle head and the wings?
Yeah, I think
And
so.
the
And then the
bottom half
body
was
of
the
the lion.
lion?
And
I
then
think.
the claws of an eagle was in the front.
Oh, yeah.
And the back was the lion.
Yeah.
So what does that
Legs.
mean for our
I don't know. So we
Harry
were
Potter experience?
we were wondering.
Get
it's
to the
on
point.
Dumbledore's door. So we were like, does that mean anything for his placement of house? Since Gryffindor is a lion, their house animal. And
Do you think it could have been like Harry, where he was trying to figure out in his head, oh, you could be a Ravenclaw, but you could also be a Gryffindor?
Right.
Because he was battling Slytherin and Gryffindor, right? Like Harry almost got like
Right.
Slytherin. So like his battle was like, I'm supposed to be in Slytherin, but I'm in Gryffindor.
Yeah.
So then maybe that plays into Dumbledore.
Maybe the same happened with Dumbledore. Also, do you think it's weird that the houses have Muggle animals? I guess Muggle animals.
A griffin is not a Muggle animal.
But no, a lion.
But the lion is their animal.
is the house
Yeah.
of
It's
Gryffindor.
called
So why isn't a griffin the house animal of Gryffindor? And like
But that would
a
combine
phoenix
too.
of like a Ravenclaw.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what a Hufflepuff would be.
Because there's
A mule.
mudbloods that go. So maybe they have to, I don't know. Maybe they changed it. Maybe it was magical creatures and then mudbloods started coming. I know that's not, that's a derogatory
say that.
term.
Yeah, is there a nice
How do
way
we
to say
call
that?
it? What do we
yeah,
say?
what is the,
Yeah.
or maybe we're not even supposed to acknowledge
Muggleborns.
someone.
There we go.
Muggleborns.
Muggleborn.
Sorry, everyone. I am so sorry.
Did not mean to offend anybody.
No. Yeah, maybe they changed it when more of them came. Muggleborns came.
Also, what if
House.
Dumbledore's knocker has nothing to do with his house and it was just the knocker that's been on there for hundreds of years?
I mean,
You
there's
would
a
say
buzzkill.
Yep.
No,
Or
every
there's
Dumbledore
headmaster
could
has
be
to
a
pick his knocker.
Slytherin. Yeah. They've got like a whole ceremony of knocker picking. And they're like,
It was more
change
fun
up.
thinking it represented him.
But then why would they say
probably does.
griffin? Like they could have said lion and then you would have like I think I would have read right past it, but because it said griffin, I was like, what is that?
So if it was from past headmasters, are there only headmasters that were Ravenclaw or Gryffindor? It
No.
only represents
Wait, where does the Ravenclaw thing come in? Because
the
it's
eagle.
Eagle.
That's
the
their
eagle
house
side.
animal.
Oh, I've just
Which
been
is
assuming
another
it
one.
was Raven. That
No.
Yeah, it's
makes
another
no
weird one.
sense.
It's not Raven. It's weird. It
It
should
I
be
thought
Raven,
that
maybe.
too, but
Now
when we
I'm
Googled
trying.
it, we did a deep dive.
All right.
We stopped reading for a minute. Took a page out of your book.
Yeah. That is interesting. But maybe it has nothing to do with the house. And just a griffin is a cool thing.
It's a magical animal.
It like could have been a
All
unicorn.
right. Well,
you know?
we
This
have
is possible, but
theories.
it's
You
not more
had
fun.
theories, and we didn't bash them. So
I'm not booing your theory. It
You
could
two
be true.
sit down.
Oh, and we also met another headmaster in this. So maybe we're gonna get some
yeah.
more info on
That's
this.
right.
Remember his name?
Dip it.
What was it?
Something dip it.
Armando Dippet.
oh,
Armando.
interesting.
Well.
He had a really cool accent in Jim Dale's audiobook.
You did?
Yeah?
Whoa, Jim's giving things away about the history of Armando.
It didn't sound very Spanish, but
Oh.
Anyway. Welcome to our podcast. I'm John.
None of us
I literally took a sip of coffee.
my coffee. I'm like clearing my throat. Sabotage.
I mean, that was like so confident
goodness.
to just go right in.
Yeah, wow.
We do, guys.
Yeah, I know, but I was already mid-sip.
I know. Oh, man.
So please do over.
Take two.
In a second, let me chew this sherbet lemon.
Wow, you really love those.
You're so good.
How many have you eaten so far?
5. He's gonna be on like a sugar high.
I did too.
The sherbet lemon is better than the lemon drop.
But he also
You
didn't
had
get
lemon?
coffee.
Oh, yeah.
So this is like your caffeine.
Yeah, this is my caffeine. This is how it's
Maybe.
keeping me awake.
Oh yeah, 6:30.
I woke up at 7 actually.
Oh.
Got an extra half hour.
There you go. That helps sometimes.
Yeah,
there
every
you
bit
go.
helps at that point.
Stop. Take
Alright.
2.
Welcome to our podcast. I'm John,
Jen.
Danny.
And Kristen.
and this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. Today we are going over chapters 11 to 14 of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Our snack for the day is sherbet lemons, which is the password of Dumbledore's office. And it's interesting because it's different in the American versus the English book, which we all just discovered on this podcast in our conversation. Also, we would love some ratings and reviews. Give this podcast 5 stars and give us a good review so we know what to do better and how we can improve this podcast, and just so we can interact with some of you guys. I think we have a really good following in Israel right now and also Canada. So if you are from Jerusalem, because that is where the majority of our listens are from in Israel, or Canada, somewhere near Brandon, give us a shout out, give us a review. It's probably really odd that I'm looking at analytics and I'm calling out cities that people are listening to the podcast in. But anyway, listen to us, give us a good rating or review. Our designer is Zachary Rupert, and our music is by Jacob Petrus. Enjoy the podcast. You all right?
I feel like that was very flummy.
Do over.
That was me the last time. I was like, I felt like I swallowed my tongue.
You could just crop something and put it in there.
Drop it. All right, we are on chapter 8, which is called The Dueling Club.
No.
Nope. We're on
No, it's chapter 11. Sorry,
See,
podcast number 8. I
you
didn't
did
know. I'm fooling myself.
Cut it.
Oh my gosh. We are on chapter 11, The Dueling Club. What is the summary of this quick chapter?
Oh, I forgot. It's my job now. School starts a dueling club, and Harry talks to a snake, and people are scared of Harry, and they think that he is the Slytherin heir who is petrifying people.
Great description.
I kind of skimmed over all the dueling parts, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. And the previous podcast, we were talking about the good ending of chapter 10 with Dobby, all that kind of stuff. And there was a funny moment in the opening part of this chapter where Ron is talking. And he goes, "So Dobby stops us getting on the train and broke your arm." He shook his head. "You know what, Harry? If he doesn't stop trying to save your life, he's going to kill you." I think it's a great line. And then they start this dueling club. And so here's my first question for you guys. At this stage in their schooling, which witch or wizard would you want to duel, and which one would you not want to duel?
Student-wise or professors?
It can be anybody that we've met so far, professors or students.
Probably wouldn't want to duel Snape.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He's a little scary. That would be my no-no.
No Slytherins. I feel like they know too much. They're willing to like stretch the rules,
Yeah, I
play
was gonna say they're
dirty.
sly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not into it. And especially at this low level of dueling, it's basically a one spell duel, and it either works or doesn't.
But is that even right? Like, I feel like they're too young to be dueling each other.
That does feel a little extreme.
I mean, isn't Lockhart in charge?
Well, yeah, that's why I was like, I'd pick him.
That's where we went all
what
wrong.
the heck.
And that's why Lockhart's first choice. He's like, I'm gonna duel Snape. The person we're like, no chance we are dueling. None of us.
Nope.
No. But yeah. But what was the point? Like, couldn't they have dueled against objects or something? I don't know. Like, practice first.
Practice.
Yeah,
dummy.
that would
Like
be the
some
smart way to go.
You know, scarecrows out there.
This is the incompetence of Lockhart too.
Yeah.
He's so incompetent that he
he's
can't
so
even,
annoying.
he doesn't understand how to like properly duel. Like he just sets people up and he's like, you're gonna just duel each other right now. And then they're all going at it like she has Hermione in like a headlock, like physically beating Hermione,
yeah.
and they're okay with that. It was a rough first start. Oh my gosh.
What if you dueled your friends though? I feel like no 1, 2, 3 and you like don't do anything.
But especially if you're just trying to get the wand out of someone's hand, that's perfect practice, right?
Yeah.
Does that even hurt, or is it just
Right.
kind of like, oh, you made a fool of me?
Do you know what spell gets the wand out of their hand?
Expelliarmus?
Expelliarmus. Expelliarmus.
It's like the one I know.
I was just too embarrassed to try and pronounce it because I never said it out loud.
I love it.
That's the first. It's like not the first spell that we've come into contact with, but it's probably the first big spell that we've come into contact with. Expelliarmus, the disarming spell. Now, which wizard would you want to duel, or which?
I'd give Neville a go.
That sounds
I
fun.
feel mean saying it, but
I feel like Hermione would be a good challenge because, like, she knows what she's doing, and I feel like, I don't know.
When you are prepared, like I wouldn't if you were.
Well, I'm saying it would be a good challenge for me.
Yeah.
Do I know what I'm doing? Because she definitely does.
And she wouldn't want to like kill you. So.
Right. I feel like she's
Like,
gonna play fair.
yeah. She would abide perfectly by the rules.
Yep. That works
If I
with
felt
me.
like, if I felt good about like my skills, I would totally take on Malfoy because I can't. I'm like, I'm getting you.
Same.
But I would have to be. I would practice with Hermione, and then I'd be like, okay, I could take on Malfoy.
As soon as
confident enough.
as soon as your confidence is built with beating Hermione every once in a while, you're like, you know what, Malfoy will be easy now. Okay, then Harry can talk to a snake here, which we're going to talk about in a second. But another side question: if you could talk to any kind of animal, which animal would you want to talk to, and why? A fly?
That's an insect. Is that an animal?
A what?
I mean,
It's an insect.
Yeah, we established that right away when I said the fly on the
Yeah,
whole thing.
fly's an animal. It's from the Animalia family. Yeah.
Animalia family. Okay. Pretty
Any living creature is an animal.
sure. I don't like insects. So
I mean, I wouldn't want
include
to talk to the fly. That was like being the fly.
What would you want to talk to though?
You would rather be the fly than
talking to them wouldn't be bad. I'd be striking mosquito deals all the time. I'm like, look, I'll get some blood for you. I got some in the fridge. Just give me a second. I'll warm it up. Just don't bite me or my friends while we're
my.
outside.
It's like
That's
vampire.
actually a brilliant idea.
It would like maybe come in handy.
I'm stealing that one. That's so great.
Oh my gosh. Everybody likes the fly
Like
idea.
a warm
You
a
all busted on
reasonable.
me.
It's like, all right, fine. You can bite me, but ankle only, this side, nothing in the face. It's just like, chill. I'd make some deals. I'm just like, what animals do I encounter in normal life? Maybe I'd yell at the gopher who lives under my porch or something. But
Oh, yeah.
it's about all I can come up with.
I don't know. That's a really broad question. There's so many animals. I
There are a lot of animals for sure.
don't know.
I have 3:
Go for it.
dogs,
Mm-hmm.
birds, and horses.
Horse girl.
Mm-hmm.
Why all of this?
Why all those? Because I like them a lot. Well, dogs would be cool. I have a dog. And
Yeah.
so it would be awesome to understand where they're coming from when they do stuff.
Yes.
Horses are just awesome. They're just like powerful, magnificent creatures. Not that I even have one, but it would be just cool to just, I don't know, talk to them.
And then birds, it's like text messages.
I know. That's
Here
what I
you
was
go.
thinking. Or go get this.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
that's
good
a good
idea. I like that.
I go, I
I would
want a
talk to a
sandwich.
cat. I want to understand their sassiness.
Hmm.
Why you're
Oh.
running around in the middle of the night.
Mm. I think I'd want to do dogs. Just converse with my dog right here.
Your best friend.
Yeah. What are you thinking right now?
Why are you farting so much?
Yeah, why are you so gassy? In this chapter, we encounter another interesting thing too. Do you think Harry is Slytherin's descendant?
I was actually thinking possibly.
Yeah.
It felt that way, for
Mhm.
sure.
Why do you think he's Slytherin's descendant?
I mean, the stars are aligning on this one.
Mm-hmm.
He can talk to snakes. The Sorting Hat
Yeah.
mentions Slytherin.
And then to me, like
don't know.
when Voldemort, like that connection somehow.
Yeah,
I
the
was like,
connection.
Yeah.
that seems intriguing. Of like how, I don't know, maybe they have the same bloodline somehow.
What do you mean the connection?
Well, how, remember we were talking about the last book, like how his scar like burns. It seemed as though like whenever Voldemort was around, but then we were talking about maybe it was just evil, whenever evil was coming around. But for some reason, for me, it seems as though when Voldemort is around, his scar is like burning and he feels, I don't know, like whatever from Voldemort, the power. And then I don't know, I don't have a really good answer for that, but I just like, for some reason to me it seems that there's some kind of connection with Voldemort and he couldn't kill him. I don't know.
They have the same or sibling wands, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. The phoenix feather from the same phoenix.
So there's some kind of connection between the two. You're just not exactly sure how that's fleshed out yet.
Correct.
And yeah, I can't say this because it comes up in the next chapter, so we'll talk about it when we get there. But why else would you think that he's Slytherin's heir? Like the stars are aligning, but do you have any other ideas why?
I mean, the timing is a little weird. It doesn't seem to make sense with the opening of the chamber, because if something about it has to open with the Slytherin heir being there, but Harry was there last year and it didn't open. So I also was like, something about the timing there doesn't seem to make sense. And it feels like too much is happening out of his control, but he also has a lot of power he doesn't really understand yet, and we don't either. So it feels weird. Like it's not perfectly aligning, but there are a lot of pieces that are falling into place a little bit.
So Ernie says this line too, where he says, "No one knows how he survived that attack by Unaho. I mean to say, he was only a baby when it happened. He should have been blasted into smithereens. Only a really powerful dark wizard could have survived a curse like that." He dropped his voice until it was barely more than a whisper and said, "That's probably why you-know-who wanted to kill him in the first place. Didn't want another Dark Lord competing with him." Do you think that Ernie is a shred right here? Maybe we don't think he's fully right, but do you think he has any shred of rightness in what he's saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes
Seems
sense.
Like this is the reason why Voldemort wanted to try to kill him in the first place, because there was another Dark Lord that could have rise.
Probably more powerful,
Yeah,
prideful. He wants to be the best.
right.
And
Which
is this
is
the chosen
a
one
Slytherin.
motif that we're kind of always talking about? Like, is there some kind of thing where like Harry was written in the stars that he was a chosen one? Is that why Voldemort, you think, went after him?
Maybe those half horse.
I was just gonna say we should ask the centaurs.
The centaurs.
Yeah.
Ours is close.
Maybe they spilled the beans to Voldemort,
Mm.
and then he went on a hunt.
And also, everything changed when Voldemort acted. So we only know that he went there to attack Harry, but what if he didn't? Like, what would have happened if Harry was raised by his parents? We don't know his parents. We're assuming good, but like, what if one of them was
They
not
were
so
good.
good, or could be corrupted, or would truly teach Harry about his own power, and that power would corrupt him, and then eventually he would go on to be a very powerful wizard. That could maybe be evil. So I don't know. Like, I'm just not fully convinced on the backstory. So yes, now I believe that Harry is good and has a great heart, but he had 10 years of an upbringing completely different from what it would have been if Voldemort didn't step in. So I think maybe Voldemort was even potentially right in assuming Harry was a threat to him, either for good or evil back then. But everything's changed now. Unless
Also,
it was
what
part
were
of his
Harry's
plan.
parents? Gryffindors? Do they say?
They don't say yet. You'll probably figure out in the next book, but
Okay.
yeah. We do know his dad was a Gryffindor because his dad was on the Gryffindor Quidditch team.
Ooh,
nice.
nice.
So you
right.
found that
I
out from
feel
the
like
first book.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And there's also another debate. Which position do you think James Potter played? Was he a seeker? Was he a chaser? Was he a beater? Or was he a keeper?
I thought they said that he followed in his dad's footsteps as a seeker. No, did I miss that?
I might have just, maybe we assumed it.
They definitely said something.
I was thinking he was a seeker. But did it say that?
In
Or
the
did we
movies, it
just
says he's a
assume?
seeker.
Oh, it does.
In the books, I don't know if it says this, but Rowling has confirmed later on that she says James was a chaser.
Whoa.
Which is interesting, yeah. Because there's a lot of debate with this in the Harry Potter community for what James was. And then she kind of finally came out because there was a lot of debate within this question. She's like, he was a chaser. So she like settled the debate. There's no debate anymore, but people still like the idea that Harry and him are distinct. They were Gryffindors, but like one was a chaser, one was a seeker. They're good. They're both good at Quidditch, but they're both individuals. But all that to say, we know that he was a Gryffindor. We don't know what Lily was yet.
Okay.
Now, onto a really important question. There's a thing mentioned in this chapter called a blood-sucking bugbear. What
Wait,
is
where
a
was that?
blood-sucking bugbear?
Where was that?
I don't even know.
Not that I have.
That is really funny. Oh, I got it. Why did I underline that? I don't know.
I knew it. I pointed right to him. I'm like, damn.
Hagrid held up the limp rooster. Second one killed this term, he explained. It's either foxes or a blood-sucking bugbear. And I said, what are those? I have no idea. Something from the Forbidden Forest.
Yeah.
Big and scary, like a leech that crawls around.
Some kind of vampire.
A leech vampire bear. That's terrifying. Oh
Or maybe it's a flying bear, kind of like the size of a bug.
Oh.
Ew.
It's like a bat, but it's a bear. It's like a flying fox, but a
gross.
flying
I don't like
bear.
it. Whatever it is.
And then finally, why do you think that the students are getting petrified rather than killed?
Honestly, I didn't view that as such a distinction. I didn't understand being petrified, but I thought it was just the first step to death. Like I was like, oh, they'll then starve to death or die in a few days or whatever. I kind of thought that was death almost, like turning to stone. And then I was like, oh no, they can come back from that. But I almost viewed it as like a ticking time bomb of you've got to heal them quickly or they will die. But then it started to become clear that it was not death. But for a while, I assumed that it kind of was.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah. I didn't really have many thoughts. I was like, oh, they're just frozen.
But Colin broke in half, right?
He broke in half?
I don't think so.
No.
I
He
thought
That would
broke
be
in
bad.
half.
so. When I read it, I thought that he was in two pieces, and
Oh,
McDonald
gosh.
was carrying one part of him, and
McDonald.
Old
Dumbledore.
McDonald.
What did I say? I said McDonald.
McGonagall.
Old McDonagles.
Excuse me.
Oh no, we're going to go back into the last
Cut it.
Oh my.
Oh, goodness.
Wait, time out. You thought they were cut into two pieces?
Now I gotta go find the.
I thought Colin
Colin
fell
thing.
on the stairs,
Oh,
and I thought he
interesting.
broke into two pieces.
Oh.
That I totally read that wrong.
Yeah, where is that in the book?
Maybe
know,
it's in my
I'm-
mind.
I forget what chapter it happened.
I thought because it said McGonagall. Oh man. I just read it as like Dumbledore ran into him when he was getting hot chocolate, and like I thought he fell, or it said something about like he saved him before it got worse. I don't know. I for some reason I thought he was in half, and they both were carrying his pieces
Oh, gosh.
to
Oh,
the
my God.
hospital.
How are they going to like put him back
gruesome.
together?
That's what I thought. I was like, wow, she's really powerful healing powers.
Poor Ernie. Or not Ernie. Poor
No, Colin.
Colin.
Oh.
I mean, I'm glad.
But I don't even know what chapter. All right, well, moving on.
Yeah, well, we'll
He's on
have
the
to
hunt.
consult that when the book when we get to it.
We are on to chapter 12 now, which is the Polyjuice Potion. What happens in this chapter?
You didn't.
We're not doing like you just kind of eat them. So we're not doing shots because Birdie Bots every flavor of
No,
beans
no,
was a
but I was
shot.
gonna say you always announce what we were.
Yeah, I'll do that prior. Sorry. We're like today we're eating sherbet lemons, which is different from lemon drops. Translation errors.
Well, because I was in chapter 11.
Actually, that is an interesting point. So like in my book, I have the illustrated version of Harry Potter, and I'm reading that one right now. And it says sherbet lemon in this one section rather than, which is your guys' American version says lemon drop, right?
Yeah. So the Dumbledore's password is different.
Yeah. For British versus American people. Like if I walk up to his office, I have to say lemon drop because I'm American.
I just don't like it. I'm like, oh no, it's so
Yeah.
lame.
I know. I kind of agree.
Especially when things are up for debate. If they're making differences between the books and then people are reading different books.
Well, there's
Oh my
translation
goodness.
nightmares between all of this kind of stuff. So
I
we will
bet.
talk about a translation nightmare in the next few chapters. I think it's chapter 17 of what they were trying to do with this. But like there's all sorts of things. So in mine, instead of studying, it says revising, because apparently that's a British thing. So like Hermione is not studying for her finals, she's revising her finals. And it says that all over the place. And I was like, what the heck are they
what does
talking
that
about?
mean?
Revising the finals. But it's, yeah. Anyway, Polyjuice Potion, chapter 12. What is this chapter about?
You want to take this one, Jen, or should I just do all the chapters since I write a little summary?
Do I have? I don't have much on this one. You can take it away.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, Harry was kind of in trouble at the end of the last one. So Harry talks to Dumbledore, who believes him and lets him go. Christmas break starts, and Ron and Harry use the Polyjuice to become Crabbe and Goyle and learn some juicy and concerning things. And Hermione turns into a large talking cat.
Oh, poor Hermione.
Ouch. And this chapter opens up with them going, he goes into Dumbledore's office, because obviously he says sherbet lemon or lemon drop, whichever you prefer. Goes into Dumbledore's office, and then they meet a phoenix. Harry meets a phoenix. Bursts into flame, is reborn from the ashes, and Dumbledore says, Fawkes is a phoenix, Harry. Phoenixes burst into flame when it is time for them to die and are reborn from the ashes. Watch him. Would you guys want a pet phoenix?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
It'd be awesome.
They could carry you everywhere, too.
I know.
Yeah.
Because they they can carry immense loads. That's what they say later in the chapter.
Healing powers.
I know, right?
Oh, gosh.
You have like a little cut on your leg. You're like, you know what? Heal that up.
Just cry on me.
You can make like unending wands. Well, one every thing of that lifetime, but every time the thing is dead and it is reborn, you can pluck one of its tail feathers and just keep making great wands with it. You have like an unending supply of wands.
Right up your alley.
I know. That's why I'm thinking that. I'm like, ooh.
Wait, but then I'm just curious. They're wild and pets.
Well, that's the part that I was thinking too. They feel a little too magnificent to just be pets. I'm not picturing these in a Petco lined up in cages. You're not finding these on Diagon Alley. I feel like these are a little more special. Like maybe they're only in the wild, and it's even rare to have one, but only some of the greatest wizards in the world could. Maybe there's got to be a bond, some trust that has to be earned. Maybe he's not really a pet. He's free to come and go as he wishes, but he's actually hanging with Dumbledore because
he's loyal.
they're boys.
Wasn't that was the thing though? Like,
yeah, right, exactly, like a
yeah.
loyalty. I don't know how that loyalty is earned, but I just cannot imagine going to Diagon Alley and being like, I'll take that phoenix over there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then do you have to pluck it, or do they give you their feather?
Well, it seems like he's got a lot of feathers, and if he's gonna die and be reborn every so often, it says how often, right? I forget what it was, every couple months or something.
But didn't they talk about how it gave?
Yeah.
Right. So
In
it
the
has to
beginning.
be like intentional, right? Like
Yeah.
giving a feather, or maybe that was just weird language, but if he only gives 2 feathers, is that like a key moment?
Because that's what Harry and Voldemort's wands are. Ollivander said the phoenix that gave this feather also gave one more. So I guess the phoenix has to give it, unless it's just linguistical
that's what
thing
I
of like
think.
he just says give and he really means I took one.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I would probably assume it means like the phoenix has to give it like
Yeah.
voluntarily almost.
Almost sacrificing some of its own power
Yeah.
to give to someone else.
It almost lines up. It feels like it lines up with the magical creatures that Ollivander uses too, like a dragon heartstring. I feel like you need to slay a dragon in order to get a dragon heartstring. So it's like if you have a dragon heartstring, it's like a hardy wand. It's like conquering. And then like a unicorn hair, you have to like catch it and pluck it because it's impossible to catch a unicorn. And then a phoenix is such a noble bird, I guess, that it has to only willingly give. If you pluck it, maybe the magical power won't be quite as much or something like that, you know?
But then I'm just thinking like all the dark wizards would be plucking all the phoenix feathers, and then are they going to be extinct?
That's a great
Just what
question.
came to mind.
That's a great question. Like the snitches, when they would catch the actual bird, the snitch, and they would kill him.
So sad.
I know, right? They started playing with phoenixes now, and they could never catch a phoenix. Should Harry have confided in Dumbledore?
Yes.
That was unanimous. Why?
Well, he
that
ever
part was
learned
so
this
frustrating.
kid.
This is where we
Goodness
were reading that
gracious.
together, right? We were
Yeah.
like, why? Just communicate, Harry.
Why? That's actually the interesting question. Why do you think he doesn't?
Probably from fear.
Yeah.
He's still, I don't know.
Well, Ron also said that comment to him. It was like, if you're hearing voices, even in the wizard world, it's not good.
Right.
So it probably scared him. I bet you, I wonder if Ron didn't say that. He might have said something.
That's a good point.
Because he doesn't know anything about the wizard world.
Right. And even though Dumbledore is trustworthy, he's like fearful for himself. What's going to happen? Am I going to be expelled? Is this a bad thing? You know, like.
Yeah, because it's different from like a fear of not being popular. Like Harry, I don't think cares that much about that. He does to a little extent because he just doesn't want to be ostracized, but maybe that's in there somewhere where he's nervous. He doesn't want to sound like he doesn't know what he's talking about with things in the wizarding world, so he just doesn't bring stuff up because he's like, Ron said this is a rare gift, so I don't even want to ask questions about this because I don't want to look like a fool, or I don't want to be ostracized, or maybe like, oh, okay, you're a parcel now, so we have to like expel you from the school. I think from the circumstances of where he's coming from, I think he just wants to insulate himself and protect himself at all costs from having to go back to the Dursleys forever.
It just
So. Feels like it.
There are some Harry mindsets that we're seeing here that are mirrored by another person later in this book. And that's weird. It's like he's more concerned about protecting himself or keeping himself from the Dursleys or at Hogwarts. And it just feels weird. Or even when he was going over to get the sorting hat again, like, just do what you're supposed to for once and sit there and trust Dumbledore, wait for him. But instead, there's like a certain arrogance of he wants answers and he's going to get his answers. And that we like
Sounds
that.
like human beings.
Yeah, right. It's bold and it's cool, but also there are times I'm just like, just sit still for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do.
That's what God wants us to do.
Yep.
Like,
just want to take control.
I don't want to wait.
But it is
Make
interesting
things
because that is a good, you almost get annoyed with Harry every time he's like, okay, just sit in his office. Don't take the sorting hat. Don't put the sorting hat on. And I feel like he does this with a lot of different things. He cannot be patient. He cannot just sit and wait, which again, is very true to human nature. But
he's also like a little boy. He's 12,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's curious.
Also is...
I would have sat there out of fear.
And especially this moment too, because he just learned he can speak to snakes, which is rare. So one of the prevailing questions in his mind, as soon as he sees the sorting hat, he's like, I need to sort out something. I need to figure out if I was actually supposed to be in Slytherin. So when he puts it on, and he's like, I'm just checking if you sorted me into the right house. And he goes, yeah, you were particularly difficult to sort, but I stand by what I said. And Harry's heart leaps. You would have done well in Slytherin. Oh, that sucks. It's heartbreaking. Like, you understand why he's like grabbing the sorting hat and doing all this stuff, but it's devastating.
But then also, I feel like he's so comfortable with Dumbledore now because after the last book, they're kind of on not friend level, but like he came, sat with him, talked to him, and I don't think anyone else has had that interaction with him until like now in the books. And then he did find out that the invisible cloak was from Dumbledore, right? So it's like they have this connection where I feel like he's like, I respect you, but I feel like I can push my limits with you. So
Harry
sitting,
thinks that with
Harry
Dumbledore.
thinks that with Dumbledore, yeah. So sitting in his office, he's like, well, I could probably just do this, and we're on that level. I don't think I'll get in trouble.
But if he's on that level, he should communicate to him
Right.
certain things about like, hey, I speak to snakes. I'm hearing your voice.
Would you?
The school. I don't know. That's a great question. I know that's like the thing. It's like easy to say this, but I don't know if I actually would do that either. Especially if you're in Harry's position, I think it's just a lot more nerve wracking because you're under the threat of going back to your aunt and uncles, which is just terrifying. Because if someone doesn't like something about you, I mean, this is just true to like human nature, period. If you confess something or say something that you feel like is dreadful in your past and someone rejects it, then it's a rejection of like you. It's like, oh, wow, that sucks. So I think Harry is dealing with that in large amounts.
Yeah.
But no one, not even someone dreading taking Polyjuice Potion,
Your
could
owl
fail
is
to
back.
enjoy
Carrier
Christmas dinner.
Sorry.
Huh?
Your carrier pigeon was back.
My carrier pigeon. My Hogwarts letter. He's back.
Sorry. Carry on.
But no one, not even someone dreading taking Polyjuice Potion later, could fail to enjoy Christmas holidays at Hogwarts. It's that magical.
It makes me so happy.
We're in the Polyjuice section. Which character from this book would you want to impersonate for an hour after taking some Polyjuice potion?
Dumbledore.
Why?
I just feel like you would get so many secrets out of people, or you could just boss people around.
Boss people around.
Fire people you don't want there.
And you even mentioned, hold on, I want to revisit this real quick. You mentioned that Dumbledore and Harry are friends. Do you think that is reciprocal, that both of them are starting to feel that? Do you think that Harry maybe is starting to feel that with Dumbledore, and Dumbledore's like, yeah, no, you're just a student?
Yeah, a second.
Second?
Yeah, that Harry thinks that they're friends, but Dumbledore is just like, I guess, coaching him along, being like a mentor to him. So not really reciprocated. Maybe Harry feels that.
So when you impersonate Dumbledore for an hour, you can be like, Harry, we're not really friends.
Sure. I don't know.
I feel like you'd know so many secrets. So if you become Dumbledore for an hour,
right? That's what I think would be cool.
Yeah.
More like that than anything else. Or McGonagall. Not McGonagall.
Just like punish a bunch of students.
Yeah.
Give a lot of points to Gryffindor.
Yeah, for real.
Sorry, yeah. You guys. I just named you.
No, I'm trying to think.
It'd be fun to be Hagrid, walk around the Forbidden Forest, you know, with
Be really
some cool
tall.
animal friends, be gigantic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, I don't know if Dumbledore and Harry are friends from either side. I'm not really feeling it yet. I don't think Harry truly trusts him, or he would have shared things here.
Does Harry know how to be a friend with him?
No, I don't think he really does.
He
And
understands
it's
how
an
to do
awkward
that yet.
relationship, but he's figuring it out just fine with Ron and Hermione. And Dumbledore has given him, I was going to say every reason to trust him, but not necessarily. Like, I feel like they're both taking cautious steps towards a great relationship, but it does feel like they're both still holding back. Dumbledore is not telling him the full truth. Like the end of the first book, he's like, you're not ready for this. So that like kind of pushes Harry back a little bit. And because Harry doesn't fully trust Dumbledore, then he's like, oh, well, and he's also keeping things from me. I don't know. Like, I
And
think
also,
there's
he only
there are barriers
knows.
here.
Yeah, he only knows from the Dursleys. Like,
Yeah.
that was his parental, whatever. And he doesn't know what it means to have a good relationship with that authority.
And it's
so
easy.
Not that maybe he just doesn't know. Like, he's so used to not trusting.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
That's
know
so much
how
easier.
to.
It's safer. And with Hagrid, I also get the feeling Harry thinks and maybe is smarter than Hagrid. So there's like a certain thing, like it feels like Harry has, it sounds harsh to say manipulated, but it feels like he's manipulated Hagrid a few times where he'll like go in and ask certain questions to try and get information, and like not in a mean way necessarily, but a little bit where I'm like, oh man, I didn't love the way that came across. So I think Harry doesn't know how to handle that with an adult who knows more and is wiser and is smarter than him. Because Harry is clearly very smart, but maybe a little too smart for his own good.
But how does he not trust Dumbledore? I feel like he does.
Yeah,
but
but
He
why
might,
can't he
he
hear
might, but I
Dumbledore
don't think
right
he
here?
knows how to. If that makes sense.
But it's
Like,
like
with conversation, because it's like you can trust someone, and if you don't know how to confide, because all he's done is kept everything inside his whole life, because he had no one to share with anything.
yeah.
I don't know if that's making sense.
Even on a character study of Harry, do you think that manipulation is in Harry's DNA? Maybe like manipulation, not in a bad way, but like,
Well, if he's part Slytherin,
Whoa.
Right.
or he was supposed to be in the house, I feel like that's a character trait of them.
do you ever feel like you know Harry and then all of a sudden something happens and you're like, that doesn't seem like Harry? Have you ever felt like that in the book?
Yeah.
Where like something he does surprises you a little bit?
Yeah, that's how I felt when he picked up the Sorting Hat, where I was kind of like, really, of all the things, like, I thought you were scared to go up there. I thought you were like feeling nervous and like you were getting in trouble, and then all of a sudden you're running over there. It felt weird. But I'm still getting to know him, and he's getting to know himself. He's growing.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to make some mistakes. It's all good.
Yeah.
We still love him.
Yeah. That's why we can't type him in the beginning. He's too early to be typed. We don't know his Enneagram yet. We're not going to tell him what his Enneagram is because he's too young. He can still grow as a person. He can still learn and figure things out. But we are again at Christmas holidays for a little bit. And Draco's parents, what do you think they're doing that Draco is still at Hogwarts? If you're a rich kid, why are you not going home for Christmas? Especially Draco, who would lord it over everyone that he can't wait to go to home to his probably nice mansion or something like that.
Maybe they're dealing with stuff at home where like the magical whatever
The
ministry raids. So they're like, you can't come home now because we have to like.
That's a good theory, actually. I hadn't thought of that.
Because we need to take care of stuff.
Problem solved. That's
and we
great.
Can't have you talking and spilling anything.
Ditto.
Reading between the lines there. I love that.
Yeah.
I always thought they were just like on vacation somewhere and they're like, Draco, we don't want you to come right now.
Oh, really? You never thought of that?
No, I never thought of that.
Oh.
That's a great idea, though. That's become headcanon for me, Jen. Well done. Thank you.
Nice.
Gold star.
But this is when there's some issues that Harry reads in the newspaper with the Weasley family. Their Weasleys are facing an inquiry. Mr. Weasley was unavailable for comment, although his wife told reporters to clear off or she'd set the family ghoul on them. So well done, Mrs. Weasley. And then they meet up with Malfoy. And then Malfoy says this: my father won't tell me anything about the last time the chamber was opened either. Of course, it was 50 years ago, so it was before his time. But he knows all about it. And he says that it was kept quiet and it'll look suspicious if I know too much about it. So at this point in your reading, who do you think opened the chamber for the first time? Did you have any theories on that? Do you have any theories on that?
I had no idea. I tried, kind of.
I was thinking Draco's dad or Snape. But not really enough evidence to actually gather too much at this point.
Yeah, I didn't know at all.
Yeah, it's interesting how she writes this stuff too, in that you don't necessarily have a lot of theories for this kind of stuff because she just does very well surprising you with certain things that come up. So like these are tougher questions to answer because your theories on who opened the chamber first, you're like, have we met enough people, or like have we met this person or come across this person randomly yet? And it's definitely a tough thing to figure out. But the next chapter we get another interesting one, which is the very secret diary. So give me a summary of this chapter.
Summary time. Sorry, I'm still looking at my highlights from the previous chapter. See if there's anything good in here, you know?
Oh, there was something that popped out to me. It's a totally random little thing. But the Dursleys' Christmas gift to Harry was like a toothpick.
Oh.
And we were talking about this, and I was like, that is so... What did you said it... I don't even know.
No, you said it.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were like, you use a toothpick to pick stuff out of your teeth?
Yeah, like garbage out of your teeth.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh,
So
that's
it's like-
another sign that like, here you go, Harry. You're
Like
garbage.
You're garbage. We want to
This
pick you out
tiny
of our
little
teeth.
thing to remind you
That's great. There's like a lot of
that
symbolism behind that.
you're not, anything to us.
Jen, who is this person saying, I don't want to talk about themes or go in English class? You just gave a whole full synopsis
On
of,
the Christmas present.
Yeah, if we just talk
of a symbol
about
in
it,
the book.
Right.
once you bring up the word theme, I like shut down.
That's not a theme though. This is a symbol
Or whatever, yes.
of
sorry.
like them
See, this
gifting
is why.
Harry a toothpick, and they essentially are like, we want to pick you out of our teeth. We want to get you out of our life. Here you go.
Mhm.
Wow, that's fantastic. Jen, becoming an English teacher over here.
I thought she was going to spit that out.
Swallow, please.
Haley's in the line of fire.
All right, so what do you think this next chapter? Give me a summary. The very secret diary.
All right. The only other thing I saw is that Harry's eyes got better while he was doing polyjuice, so he should be taking a potion for eyesight.
Yeah, right?
Who needs glasses? In Wizard
Great
World,
point.
there should be
I
either
didn't
a
even
potion he
catch
can
that.
do once a
Yeah.
week, once a month, or once forever. Maybe they haven't
true.
developed that, but some
Why
wizard
not?
should be working on
That's
that.
gotta be.
If Dumbledore's doing the 12 uses of dragon hearts or whatever he did, then there should be another wizard doing some optometry.
Yeah,
Anyways,
maybe- the ophthalmologist wizard.
so chapter 13, Hermione gets out of the hospital. Valentine's Day embarrassment for Harry. They get a diary that someone threw at Myrtle, and the diary pulls Harry in on an adventure from 50 years ago.
Nicely done.
This is one of the first lines in this chapter. Let's all throw books at Myrtle because she can't feel it. 10 points if you get it through her stomach, 50 points if it goes through her head. Is Myrtle, quoting from the official counting book for the point system of Hogwarts, is this in the actual rule book? Because the point system is rigged.
Probably.
Myrtle points.
Yeah, she's like, I am pulling out the official Hogwarts book of points right now. If you throw a book through Myrtle's stomach, you get 10 points and 50 points if it goes through her head, but you only get 5 points if you defeat a fully grown mountain troll.
You are not ever going to get over
I will
that.
not let that die. This point system is so rigged. It is so arbitrary and foolish.
Oh, also, why did they leave Hermione in the hospital wing for several weeks? Just for the sake of embarrassment. I feel like this school is all about letting kids get embarrassed and learn from it. So my theory, they were studying her because they did not know that the potion could have this effect. So they thought,
thought of
ooh,
that.
bring in the potions people. Maybe not Snape, but some other people, some doctors from far away. We got to study this. There could be a new potion, a new application of polyjuice, that maybe it's Hermione juice or something. But it'll get named after her if it goes well.
yeah. The
Because-
Hermione problem.
And
or
the
something.
fact that it lasted so long, because polyjuice only lasts an hour, but she found a way of having something last way, way longer. It's like a more powerful version of the potion. So I think
She is
Hermione's
that brilliant.
inventing stuff accidentally. That's worthy of study, and it's the only reason I could think of to keep her in the hospital wing for several weeks, just because she looked hairy. That's not a good enough reason.
I really like that perspective too, because it makes the wizarding world seem like it's still in discovery. Like sometimes within us, we think like, oh, we're like we've like figured everything out. We've achieved everything out. We've achieved everything. But this is like, no, they're still figuring things out about like potions, or figuring new things about spells and how to do things better. And I like that idea. Do you guys think ghosts can die? That's a very random question, but do you think ghosts can die?
Weird.
I know. No.
I do.
But they're dead.
How?
Well,
You
it'd be a
die
different
after you
kind of
die.
death. But like, well, I don't know if it's getting too far ahead, but we're learning a lot about ghosts in these chapters. And I'm starting to think that their motivations are different. Like it says it somewhere in here about, it's like they had to try hard to remain here on Earth after they died. Like there was like an effort involved. So I think that ghosts, whatever that effort is, like they have to try, they have to want it. So I think they would die whenever they don't want it anymore, whenever they give up, whenever they have just like said, enough's enough, I have fulfilled my purpose. And also I think ghosts often have bitterness, like they're mad at the person who killed them because they're getting killed. So if they're trying to haunt somebody, which we saw a reference to later in these chapters, they would maybe stick around long enough to fulfill that purpose and then fade away. And that's why all the ghosts we see are really grumpy, because they just refuse to fade away.
Well, I stand corrected.
That's just my theory.
That was a great
Totally making
theory.
it up.
It was a
But
great
happy
theory.
to change that in
Fade
future books.
away. What does that even look like?
I don't know. They're half faded away already.
What, fade away?
And
Yeah.
maybe
Well, they just
there's even that
disappear.
point where everyone becomes a ghost who's a wizard, but some people are able to give it up. Some people aren't. Like a grudge that they have, like Sir Nicholas wanting to become part of the Headless Hunt. He just cannot give that up. So he's going to be a ghost forever.
Yeah,
It's like
that's his mission.
it's
now.
almost like a Christmas Carol thing, where these people are like these ghosts forever, and they're like forever haunted, and they have these chains on their shoulders, and they're always like walking around super heavy, and it just gets heavier and heavier and heavier because they can't let things go. If only they let go.
What about Moaning Myrtle? What would her grievance?
Everything. I feel like she's just miserable.
There's another line that, because Ron knows who T.M. Riddle is, because it says Filch made me polish his shield about 50 times in detention, said Ron resentfully. That was the one I burped slugs all over. If you wipe slime off a name for an hour, you'd remember it too.
Ew.
What do you think T.M. Riddle's Special Services to the School Award was for? And if you can get a Special Awards Service Award to the school, what would you want it to be? Defeating a fully grown mountain troll?
Yeah, that's at least worthy of it. At least.
Yeah. I don't think I thought much into that.
neither.
Like the award. I don't know. I also thought maybe more of like the sports award than anything.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
But it doesn't make sense here.
I also just like Ron's comment here where he goes, "He sounds like Percy," said Ron, wrinkling his nose in disgust. "Prefect, head boy, probably top of every class." "You say that like it's a bad thing," said Hermione in a slightly hurt voice. I love that. And then there's also this funny aspect where Lockhart has this whole Valentine's thing, and he goes, "Maybe you can get Snape to whip you up a love potion." And then it goes, Snape was looking as though the first person to ask him for a love potion would be force-fed poison.
That was great.
I love that idea so much. I love how different, obviously, Snape and Lockhart are too, and how they're just like foils for each other. They just like accentuate the characters about the other characters so well. They're some completely different and distinct. But a really important question: did you ever get a Valentine when you were a kid, and from who?
Was that?
We
I
had
think
them in
so.
school.
I think I did, and I threw it out.
No, who was it
Oh.
from?
It didn't go in your
Oh my
card box?
gosh.
You didn't have
I
your
think
card
he
box.
brought me. Was I in first or second grade? He got me flowers, and I was so embarrassed.
Aw.
I threw them out. Sorry.
In front of him?
I think so.
Wow.
Oh, wow. He's on a
Cold.
different podcast right now
Yeah,
telling me that story with tears in his eyes.
I'm sorry. I was so embarrassed. I didn't know what to do. I was like, nobody look at me. Just stop. It's not happening.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Our school, we had to give it to everyone. You had Valentine's for the class.
Oh, like when
Right,
you were a
well,
kid?
we-
Yeah, like
yeah.
everyone's got their little
That's what I like. We all got
box,
the
yeah.
cards, but like
he gave you
Yeah,
extra.
like specifically flowers, and I was like, no.
But also, he had parents' help on that one.
Yeah.
He went to the store, got
Oh, yeah.
flowers. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's
Poor
intense.
kid.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh.
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
He's definitely on a podcast somewhere else.
No.
Second grade.
Well, she sent a message very clear. Nope.
I'm good at that. Anyway, you guys.
I don't think I ever got one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. We had a cool thing at school where we did carnations. Like anyone could pay whatever it was, like $1 a carnation. Then they would bring them into class for the same kind of embarrassment you experienced. So it was
hate it.
classic drama. But I don't remember anything specific. I just remember carnations always going around, people coming into class, who's gonna have the most stacked on their desk, you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Would
And-
guys get Valentine's?
Not it was kind of
really.
rarely like Freddie
Yeah.
Bank. He got a lot.
Classic.
Because he's the kindest, nicest kid ever.
I
And
don't
everyone
know.
had like a crush
I
on
don't
him.
know. Don't know who that is.
And also you could do this all like at the school office, so you could just go up and write it on your little piece of paper. There wasn't a lot of regulation as to who is sending to whom, so you could really stir the pot and send it from someone else.
Oh,
and that
scandalous.
did happen a time or two.
From
Yeah.
Oh
you?
my.
I don't think I ever did that. That'd be a great prank, but
Yeah.
it feels like too far. That's like that's a
Did you
love
ever do
potion.
that?
That's
My
against the
brother
rules.
pranked me with that once. That I got one in class and in Miss Virginia's class, and I remember sitting there reading this. I'm like, oh, this is clearly my brother's handwriting. This is clearly overblown.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're the cutest person in the entire world. And I was like, Jordan, are you kidding me here? It was him.
I'm actually surprised not a lot of people have sent it like from you to other people
Why?
because of, family, the family company as a joke,
Yeah.
being like,
Maybe they
You
did.
know
We just never
what?
saw it.
He just never found out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
so funny.
But this is the moment that we realize too that Ginny, or that little gnome thing, chasing Harry and then tackling him. The ink goes everywhere, and then he realizes that the diary absorbs ink and starts a conversation with the diary. Goes into T.M. Riddle's memory and gets his memory from Mr. Riddle. And in this memory, we find out the end quote right here. It was Hagrid, Ron. Hagrid opened the Chamber of Secrets 50 years ago. So how do you think, first of all, how did you like that whole like scene where he can go into the riddle, into these memories? Do you like that kind of magic or do you not? And then how do you think Hagrid opened the Chamber of Secrets?
I mean, that magic was pretty cool.
Mm.
It was wild. You can like dive in.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be kind of nice, like writing a diary and then just being
like
able to
you're
relive
literally, he
those.
was going, how did he, I missed,
What do you mean?
like how is he in his memories?
Didn't he like fall into the diary somehow?
Yeah. Yeah. It is a cool bit of magic. Like it would be nice to be able to write. I would 100% journal or have a diary if that stuff happened where I could like, oh, you know what? I could dive back into my thoughts right here. Whoop.
Yeah, that would be
Just
fun.
go
You
for
got
it.
all the details.
Yeah. All right.
Don't have to write everything
I
down.
know, for real.
But then whoever this guy is very good at magic because, and he seemed, well, do we know how old he is here when he's interacting with him? Not yet, right?
Not quite yet. We know he's a student.
Yeah.
Right. So like
yeah,
for
so
me,
he's
I was like, as
younger.
a student, it seems like young to have these kind of powers.
Yeah.
Well, it does say he was in his 5th year. So
Okay.
we know he's a student, an experienced student. But
But he is very powerful to be doing this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't like Percy is a 7th year at this time. Or no, is he a 6th year? He might be a 6th year. I kind of blanked. And he I don't think he's capable of something like this.
I don't think of Percy as being very good.
Also, what was Percy doing that Ginny caught him?
Capable of other things.
Oh my goodness.
Other things.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
You can't take us anywhere.
No. Sorry. Carry on.
I feel like Percy is not capable of performing this kind of magic. So this person, Riddle, must be a very good magician. Must be a very good wizard.
Is that an insult calling him a magician? Or is it the same thing? Wizard and
No,
magician.
yeah, it's not. I don't think it's an insult, but it was just a misquote by me. It's a wizard and a witch. So sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My apologies.
Couldn't let that slide.
Nope.
How do you think Hagrid opened the Chamber of Secrets?
I have no idea.
I felt like that was
But-
weird. That's why I didn't believe it. Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
did you
Yeah.
I didn't
No,
believe
I
him.
didn't. I was like, I'm not buying this.
No.
It just felt a little bit too weird.
And Dumbledore trusts him. So I was like, there's no
Yep.
way
Yeah.
that there's that connection. I just didn't know.
If
how.
by like a slight chance he did open it, it was by accident or a random series of events. I just didn't
Yeah.
believe it.
I also didn't think of Hagrid as being that old. I was like, oh, for whatever reason, I pictured him younger, because he would have to be like 65, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't think of him that way. And also, I don't know exactly how old Dumbledore is, but Harry said he looked 50 years younger, and I'm like, what does that mean when someone's 500? I always pictured you'd age like normal until you're like 80, and then you just stay looking 80
Yeah.
for the hundreds of years beyond.
What does Nicholas
But-
Flamel look like?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeesh. So now we are on to the next chapter, and these two chapters bleed very well into each other. The next one is called, bathroom break. We'll be right back after these messages. From
Literally, everything I say is announced. Leave a little early.
Oh, one more thing in this chapter, as I'm trying to find clues about Hogwarts and how it exists. Parents went to Hogwarts after the girl died. So this was the first time we're seeing, like, not the first time, but it's different because they're non-students, parents of the girl coming in. We don't know anything about her or her parents, but I just thought it was interesting.
Who are we talking about?
So Hagrid says, Riddle says the dead girl's parents will be here
Oh,
tomorrow.
the girl who was killed.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I just thought, okay, that's interesting. We're seeing more people coming and going from Hogwarts. So we'll see. Still trying to figure out how it all works. You can fly there by broom. You
maybe.
can go to visit your parents or your students there if you're a parent. We'll see. You can fly a car there. You can take the train.
Yeah, you can fly a car there for sure. Now we're on to the next chapter, Cornelius Fudge, chapter 14. What is this chapter about?
Was this me again? Okay. I accept this responsibility.
I did it last time.
Another attack. Hermione is petrified. Dumbledore removed as headmaster, and Hagrid is sent to Azkaban. Harry and Ron, they got some clues and hints along the way.
All right.
And we're left hanging.
Do you there's a line that starts this chapter off. And if, as a boy, Hagrid had heard that a monster was hidden somewhere in the castle, Harry was sure he'd have gone to any lengths for a glimpse of it. So one of my first questions is maybe just a simple one, but do you think that Hagrid's love for misunderstood creatures is endearing or foolish?
I mean, it's endearing. It turns into foolishness with his decisions because he doesn't fully think it through. But it's endearing, I think.
Yeah. Like a dragon, you got to think through that a little bit more.
Yeah.
With a little bit more gusto than how you did.
Yeah.
And don't win it off someone trading and then give them secret information about
Yep.
Sorcerer's Stone and Fluffy.
It is endearing, but it is also a little annoying. Ugh. I don't mind it though. It's cool.
That's like Hagrid is a character that doesn't change a ton throughout these two books, and I think that's one thing that's like kind and nice about him is that he is just like he's kind of like an oaf. He's like a goofy guy, but maybe not goofy, but he loves animals. He loves creatures, and no matter how like misunderstood they are, he's even going. Dragons are seriously misunderstood creatures. I'm sure he'd think the same for whatever creature is popping up in here, even if it could kill him.
He's got a big heart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
He just doesn't fully think.
Yeah, I like that.
But Ron even makes fun of him for that at some point, which I thought was really funny. He like calls him out about it.
And then there's another interesting thing about Harry too, like where we understand his character more, because they're picking classes, and it says in the end he chose the same subjects as Ron, feeling that if he was rubbish at them, at least he'd have someone friendly to help him. And I don't know why, but that line like really struck me as like sad, but like really beautiful too. That Harry is like really developing good friendships with these people. And no matter how much he might be terrible at magic, and no matter how much he might like struggle through these new subjects, he's at least gonna do it with Ron. It was like, it's not the first real indication of the friendship at all, but to me, it's like you want to take classes with your friends. You want to like suffer through miserable things with them and like be like, okay, I hate taking pre-calc, but I'm gonna take it with like my friends, and you know we're gonna get through it. It's gonna suck, but pre-calc was the farthest I went in math in high school. So I was not very good with math. But I just really like that line. I like getting to know Harry more.
Well, it was interesting because this is the first time not first time, but it like came back to me like, oh yeah, they're in school. Because like every time all these stories is just like what's happening in their personal lives and going on in the background, but like they're still having to figure out what they want to do with like their careers going forward. And I was like, I didn't even think about that. Like how would you pick what you want to do?
Yeah.
As a wizard and witch.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, where are the guidance counselors?
Yeah, seriously.
Right. Well, I thought about my freshman year in college, and I was older. I still had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're kids. How do you choose?
Yeah, they've got to have their life figured out by the time they're in middle school. What the heck?
Nope. Not for me.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Do you age while you're petrified?
That's an interesting question.
Justin's going to be really behind in school.
Huh, that's very true. Hermione.
He's not going to... Well, I mean, everyone eventually is going to be behind in school, but...
Colin?
No, it wasn't Justin Finch-Fletchley. Yeah, he was the first one, right?
No, wasn't Colin?
It was Colin.
Oh,
It was
Colin is the one who was first.
Yeah.
But Justin was second with Nearly Headless Nick.
Justin was second.
Yeah, okay. So Colin, who needs the most of the education, he's missing his whole first year.
Hermione's
So
going to be ahead of the
interesting.
game. She doesn't need it. She can,
she's gonna be so
petrified
She could
for
take a
50
year
years
off. She's gonna
be
and
so
she would still be ahead of
stressed,
the class. Yeah, she's going to be real stressed. I was like, we can't get that because that's like the next chapter. But just to you guys.
Gosh. Happy birthday, Harry Potter.
It's
Today?
It's the same as my mom's birthday.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
We should have
Look at
had a
that.
cake.
Cool.
We should have. Oh, guys, that's my fault. That's on me. We need
You'll
a Harry.
never
John,
forget
you
my
failed.
mom's
A happy birthday cake for Harry Potter. Happy birthday, Harry. It is July 31st as we're recording this. You have our love.
Sorry, I interrupted everyone.
No, that's
That's a
worthy.
great
That's
interruption.
awesome.
Happy birthday, Harry. We meet this new character in here too, the Minister of Magic, Cornelius Fudge. And Dumbledore says some interesting lines, and there's something that here that struck me as a little interesting too, but I want to ask what your thoughts are on Fudge. But this line too, it says, "Yet again, Cornelius, I tell you that taking Hagrid away will not help in the slightest," said Dumbledore. His blue eyes were full of a fire that Harry had never seen before. And I like that line a lot, because there's like something behind Dumbledore that Harry has never seen before. But what are your first thoughts on Cornelius Fudge?
Typical political guy.
Yep.
Covering his own bases, no matter who he has to step on, throw away.
You just have to
He
look
annoyed
the
me.
part and look good.
Yeah.
You got to be doing something, even if it's a completely wrong thing to do. He just feels like he has to be doing something.
I don't necessarily blame him though. It kind of feels like something does need to be done, right? Like kids are literally almost dying. I'm
You're
like,
gonna throw an innocent person into Azkaban?
I'm not convinced that he thinks Hagrid is innocent. Like I mean, Dumbledore definitely knows, and might have some suspicions, or he at least can sympathize with Dumbledore. But like, something's got to give, right? If you can't find something, you lock someone away so you know they're not doing it. And then if another student has an incident, then you say, all right, it wasn't you, Hagrid. Let's lock someone else up. Gosh, I'm not saying it's good, but something does need to be done.
Because Hagrid's name hasn't been completely cleared, but it hasn't been completely I guess dirtied yet. Because if he really did open the Chamber of Secrets, he'd probably still be in Azkaban to this day, the prison. Yeah. But if his name was completely cleared, then I feel like there'd be no suspicion of him at all, unlike Cornelius Fudge. So in some people's mind, he's completely cleared. In Dumbledore's, he is. But like Fudge, being the Minister of Magic, probably has a suspicion that, okay, this guy's got some kind of record. Let's like do something. It's a decent precautionary step. Maybe it's the best first step that you can have. We don't know anything about this, so we're going to lock up one person who we possibly think might have connections with this and see if the petrifications stop. I don't know. But I still think he's an idiot.
I also feel like there should be a truth serum. How is that not a thing, like a spell or a potion?
Add it to the list.
Because someone's got to develop that. Then they could just do that polygraph test with Hagrid, see if he's guilty or innocent.
But there is something, right? Remember when the students were taking the test and the pens, like you can't cheat.
Right. Like right along those lines, right?
They
So
should
it
have
feels
them
like
give a written testimony in there. They
Ooh,
can't tell a lie
they
through
can't
like a written
lie, yeah.
testimony or something, like a quill. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
You guys should invent magic. I'm sure there's like people in the wizarding world who just sit there and like think of things all day long. And you're like, I'm going to invent this piece of magic.
That's what Dumbledore does all day.
Right.
Remember?
But it's
Well,
got to be a pretty
distracting.
dangerous
Yeah.
thing, because what if you're wrong? You
Right?
could accidentally like do some real damage to yourself or others. So you'd have to approach it very carefully.
Like you're trying to come up with a truth serum, but you drink one drop of it and you're only allowed to tell the truth from that point on for the rest of your life.
That's a good rom-com right there.
I know.
I think that's already been made.
I know.
Yes.
I think, what was it? Liar, Liar or something like that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Jim Carrey.
So good.
So they are about to take him away. Our guy Lucius Malfoy comes in. What are your first thoughts on Lucius Malfoy? Or not first thoughts, but what are your thoughts on this guy?
Ugh,
I
same.
don't like him. Yeah.
He's gross. Yeah.
He's just, I feel like he's very entitled. Like, I'm right. Whatever I say goes. I'm going to bust in here. Like, bow to me almost. I don't like him.
Yeah, he's so like, ugh. Because he's like, well, I got all the signatures, so you have to step down or whatever.
So smug.
Like,
Ugh.
oh.
Yeah, just so annoying.
Not a fan.
And then he takes Dumbledore away. And then Dumbledore says this. However, said Dumbledore, speaking very slowly and clearly so that none of them could miss a word, you will find that I will only truly have left the school when none here are loyal to me. You will also find that help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it. What do you think Dumbledore means?
Foreshadowing.
There's probably foreshadowing something, but
Yeah.
I can't say.
I don't know. I kind of almost thought he was talking to Harry about the stuff in the past of like, almost, you could have asked for help. It almost felt like more of the stuff that was too late rather than the stuff ahead, because it just feels so vague. I'm like, ask who for help? McGonagall, I guess, maybe. But like, it almost felt like he was kind of like, Harry, you should have trusted me all along. That's how I interpret it when I just read it.
Yeah, because he's like hearkening back to that conversation that they had. Like, you should have trusted me, but I'm still gonna like, if you need help, I'm here for you.
Yeah,
I like that.
I also love.
Sorry.
No, sorry.
I was gonna say I read it like so many times to try to pull something out of it. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
is he leaving some kind of spirit behind? I don't know.
right.
What is this? What does it mean? I don't know.
I love how good Dumbledore is at this and how clumsy Hagrid was. He's just like yelling about it. It's just like, even the way it was said, it's just that he was kind of looking over and saying it again and loudly repeating himself. But Dumbledore did it in a great way. Very, very subtle.
What are your guys, what was your favorite moment of these 4 chapters?
I did not write one down.
I think it was cool to see Hermione do the potion, like successfully complete the potion. And I thought that was really neat. That they were, I mean, for herself, it was a little bit wacky, but the 2 guys, it worked out really well. And they got they got a decent amount of information from it too. And I feel like it was like a confidence boost. Like, yep, I am that good.
Dusting the dirt off of her shoulders. Guys, I just made some polyjuice potion. Get off my back.
And then she looks in the mirror and she's like, but I ruined my own.
I also can't believe that Harry and Ron were down with that. She's just like, yeah, leave me here. And off they go.
Yeah.
I was like, I would never have let that fly. They had a plan. Stick to it.
But then they had like a cauldron in the stall. It wasn't they were using the toilet, right?
They were using the toilet.
Oh, they were using the toilet.
Because she had it burning in the bowl of the toilet.
That's what I was like.
Waterproof fire.
Yeah, waterproof fires. So there was over the cauldron holder was the toilet bowl.
That's what I was thinking.
And then they drank out of that.
Yep.
Oh, ew. I didn't even think that.
They didn't drink out of the toilet, but
it's coming from the toilet.
I liked when Harry went into the diary. I thought that was my favorite part.
Yeah.
It felt like it just opened up the world more, where I was like, oh, this is cool. There could be a whole section in the library of these types of things, of going into memories and things. And I don't know, but I guess I kind of assume it can't be a lie. Oh, maybe as I'm saying it, that might not be true. But it just feels like he's finding actual truth. He's seeing a real event happen. So rather than vague ideas or theories, he's seeing it happen in front of him as that memory. So it felt so solid. I was like, this is fun. It's exciting. It's cool. And he's getting real answers.
Yeah, I think that was probably my favorite moment in these chapters too. It definitely did expand the whole Harry Potter universe, wizarding world to me, of what you can possibly do. And like, okay, you can store your memories in a journal, in a diary. I really like that idea too, just of like being able to write down like things just get like they last, and you can come revisit them anytime you need to, or you can have a conversation with the journal, like write something down. It's like the Google. That's like Google of the wizarding world right now. A little journal that gives you answers to your questions. It's like Siri. Hey Siri, what's the weather going to be like today? What's the weather? What's the weather like 50 years ago?
Yeah.
And Siri is literally listening to me right now. Never mind.
I don't know. I'm going to go with yours, Jen. Team Hermione.
I also really like the brawl that happened during the dueling club when Millicent Bulstrode is like literally holding Hermione in a headlock, like beating her. And then they're all just in fights, and then Ron tries to come to their rescue, and it's like, I really like some of the fight scenes here. I feel like those are some of my scenes always, like when they're getting a little brawl, but I think it just shows how loyal they are to each other, how much they'll protect each other, how much they are willing to fight for each other, and I really like that. Who do you guys think won the most valuable player award for these chapters, the House Cup?
Hermione.
Yeah, I think Hermione did. I mean, without her polyjuice thing, none of this would have worked.
I think she's a clear winner for this chapter. I don't think I could say anybody else, because some of them had good moments, but Hermione just witch her age to be able to like brew that potion. And what do you think the theme, if you had to say what the theme of these few chapters was, Jen? Our theme expert here. Because you're all of a sudden an English expert.
Oh, yeah. Like discovery? I don't know. Like trying to figure out clues to who the heir of the Slytherin is.
Yeah. I really like that one because I would probably have said truth, but I think discovery is a better one than truth because they're trying to, it's like more specific. They're like trying to figure out what the truth actually is. Specifically, these 3 chapters, you just don't know what the heck, or these 4 chapters, you just don't know what the heck is going on at all. And like the plot has been set and they are seeking truth, but more than anything else, they're like they're trying to discover what the heck is happening. And they just keep stumbling across more and more things that like help uncover it. But yeah, I think discovery is a good one. What about you guys?
I like it.
Ditto.
Ditto.
What? I'm an English major now?
There you go.
Totally kidding.
Well, thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. We just want to thank you for listening. This is so much fun to do, and we would love some ratings and reviews just to interact. We're actually right now considering making some kind of website or forum just so we can talk about this with our fans and anybody else who wants to read Harry Potter for the first time or discuss theories. So stay tuned for that, and just, again, thank you so much for listening. It means the world to us.